Once upon a time, in a land where the desert stretched endlessly under the starlit sky, a caravan of merchants traveled through the night. Their destination was a distant city known for its bustling markets and exotic goods. The caravan was a magnificent sight to behold, with 100 camels laden with spices, silks, and treasures from far-off lands. As the moon climbed high, the caravan arrived at a modest inn nestled at the edge of an oasis. The inn, a haven for travelers, was run by an old man known far and wide for his wisdom and kindness. The merchants, weary from their journey, decided to rest there for the night. The camels, these majestic creatures of the desert, were the lifeblood of the caravan. Each camel was to be securely tied with a rope and peg to prevent them from wandering off into the vast, unforgiving desert. But as fate would have it, the merchants discovered they were one rope and peg short. One camel, a young and spirited one, stood untethered. Panic set in among the merchants. It was past midnight, the market was closed, and there was no way to procure another rope and peg. Concerned for their camel and the goods it carried, they approached the owner of the inn, rousing him from his sleep with their dilemma. The innkeeper, a man of advanced years with a gentle demeanor and eyes twinkling with hidden knowledge, listened to their predicament. The merchants explained how they could tie 99 of their camels, but the 100th remained unbound, a risk they could not afford to take. The old man, after a moment of thoughtful silence, offered a solution that seemed absurd at first. He suggested they pretend to tie the camel, to go through the motions of securing it with an imaginary rope and peg. The merchants were initially skeptical, even irritated by what seemed like a mockery of their serious problem. But the old man assured them with a confident smile. Reluctantly, the merchants followed his advice. They went through the motions of digging a hole, inserting an imaginary peg, and tying the camel with an imaginary rope. To their amazement, the camel, accustomed to its nightly routine, settled down as if it were truly tied. The night passed without incident, and the camel remained in place, much to the merchants' surprise. But the real test came with the dawn. As the merchants prepared to depart, they untied the 99 camels and removed their pegs. However, the 100th camel, which had never been physically restrained, refused to rise. The old man, with a knowing smile, instructed them to untie the camel as they had tied it the night before. The merchants, though skeptical, had no choice but to follow his advice. They mimicked the actions of untying the rope and removing the peg, and to their astonishment, the camel immediately stood up, ready to proceed. Amazed and grateful, the merchants thanked the old man profusely. They praised his wisdom and insight, to which he responded with a modest chuckle. He explained that his knowledge was not of camels, but of the human mind and its tendencies. The old man shared his wisdom, elaborating on how people, much like the camel, often believe they are bound by non-existent limitations. He spoke of self-imposed constraints, imaginary pegs and ropes made of doubts, fears, and societal expectations. He urged the merchants to consider how often they, and others, are held back by beliefs in their incapabilities rather than actual impediments. Like the camel, they were conditioned to feel restrained, not by physical barriers, but by mental ones. The story of the camel served as a metaphor for the human condition. The old man's wisdom revealed how perceptions and beliefs shape reality, and how breaking free from these mental constructs is key to realizing one's potential. Over the next few days, as the merchants continued their journey, they pondered the old man's words. They reflected on their own lives, recognizing the imaginary ropes that had held them back, fears of failure, reluctance to change, adherence to societal norms, and self-doubt. As the caravan moved through the desert, the story of the 100th camel spread among the merchants. It became a source of inspiration and introspection. Each of them started identifying and challenging their own imaginary ropes, leading to a profound transformation in their approach to life and business. The caravan eventually reached its destination, richer not just in material wealth, but also in wisdom and insight. The merchants, now enlightened, conducted their trade with newfound vigor and openness. The story of the 100th camel became a legend, a tale passed down through generations, reminding all who heard it of the power of the human mind to create and dissolve barriers. It served as a testament to the potential within each person to overcome self-doubt and societal constraints, to embrace change, and to pursue their dreams unencumbered. In this expanded narrative, the story retains its core message but delves deeper into the lives of the merchants, their journey, and the transformation brought about by the old man's wisdom. It's a tale that transcends time and place, resonating with universal themes of self-imposed limitations and the power of belief in shaping one's destiny.